Hey everybody, this is ManlyBadassHero, and welcome back to Downfall. Previously, we managed to avoid sleeping with some kind of undead girl, and now we're on the roof to try to fix some lightning for this experiment that's pretty much a ripoff of Frankenstein. There aren't any switches or buttons on it. Let's see. Maybe I have to talk to the walkie-talkie. Hey Doc, it's me. I'm about to place the bar in the machine. Are you ready? Okay then, let's start this thing. Now I better hide before something strikes me like lightning. Whoa! Maybe I should try pulling myself up? Joe? I don't think we have to listen to this conversation, Joe. I think we should just pull ourselves up, Joe. Joe? That didn't sound like a, Oh, hi there. That was a lucky fall. I think I'm still in one piece. But I doubt the doctor is. That was barely a fall at all. I mean, if we fell the full height of the building, it would have been bad, but this fall to here is nothing. So I guess Joe just hanged around just to see what would happen. Clarify some things, anyway. Hey, Agnes. Come with me. Yeah, so, thank you for, asking, asking what happened or anything like that. Just a little concern and all. But, it's not weird at all for me to, go out to the roof, then come back in for the other door or anything. Like, maybe I fell or something like that, but, whatever. Room's got a red coloring now. Oh, we finally get to get this book that's been kind of bothering us for this game since the beginning. It's a copy of Mein Kampf! What? Or perhaps an original. So he is an SS doctor. It's all in German, but I found a photograph between the pages. Photograph, right here. Dear God, this man must be some kind of neo-Nazi. Probably was an actual Nazi. Why on earth would he keep a picture of Hitler saluting the crowds? I'm assuming he is, like I said, an actual SS doctor. He wasn't a neo-Nazi, he was an actual Nazi. And if this is some kind of afterlife, it would make a lot more sense. Yeah, you have solved the puzzle of the Nazis. Large capsule with a body of a man frozen inside. No, it's impossible. My God, he worshipped chainsaws. I shouldn't, because I fear I will use it. But it's so beautiful. So tempting. It's singing your name, Ivy. Oh, Jesus. He killed his wife with a chainsaw, didn't he? Was Doctor some kind of neo-Nazi? Those swastikas are all over the place. Freshly developed. They all show different bodies, all cut up and open and half rotten. It's been sawed off. He's got a nice collection here. You would know, Joe. He's dead. He won't talk to me no more. Maybe it's better. He must have crawled inside to hide from that monster he created. His head is open, and I think the brain is missing. Wait, it took its brain? I assumed the monster chased him in here and he ripped the shreds with the chainsaw. That's why there's blood everywhere, but I guess it just killed him. I put a leaflet under the door. What next? My key seems to be able to fit into this lock. It won't turn, but I can hear that the key on the other side of the door has been pushed out and fell in the leaflet. I'll just slowly pull it out now. And there it is. I'll just describe everything I'm doing now. Well, shotgun's got, what, 2 shells in it? And we got a box of shells, so they'll come in handy later. It's been pinned to the wall with a couple of metal bolts. A couple? It's a baby elephant doll. She won't talk to you, Joe. It's too late for her. Oh, that's a doll talking. What? I thought that was Agnes for a second because she's behind me. She's always been a cruel one. A young lass like this, she should burn in hell, Joe. Yes, there is no room for her in the world of the living. Ho-ho! You know what to do, Joe! We've been waiting a long time for you to turn up. But the Judgment Day has finally come! Tear her to pieces, me boy! For all those hours when she cut my dead body with razors. For burning me with a lighter. For leaving me in the dark cupboards for months. For taking my eye out with a kitchen fork! For sticking turtle needles in my head! Kill her! Kill her! Kill her! And make it a cruel death, as she deserves, nothing less than the worst kind of suffering. Ah, childhood.
Cut through her ugly body. Let us all find that there's no heart inside. Split her in half, and as the skin splits her wicked soul, will split as well.
Okay, dolls. Agnes?
This has gone too far. I've become a ruthless killer. I need to get out of here. And hope that it's not too late.
Yeah. Oh, he finally lit that last cigarette. Nothing like a smoke when you're going insane.
We killed them all. All 4 memories of Sophie. Now we should find my wife. And hope that it's not too late.
I'm surprised Agnes doesn't say anything during this. Maybe it's programmed that way on purpose, so they wouldn't have to write much extra dialogue if you did kill her. Four little birds. 4 birds with heads chopped off. You and me, Joe. We are alike. We have killing on our blood, don't we? But you ain't gonna get any further. You know, I have an answer to that. You know what it is?
And once the devil comes, he stays forever. Are you ready to meet him, Joe? Are you ready to meet the devil?
Oh shit, it's that guy again! My answer is shotgun.
Groovy. He's dead at last. Could it really be that guy from the cellar?
I wonder if the devil is supposed to be me. I mean, I just went through there and I'm arguably might not be a good person. Are you going in there?
I have to. This is the end of the road.
Oh, okay.
But Joe, I think I'll stay here. This is all too much for me. I should have reloaded my shotgun. Oh shit. You've done well so far. Why quit now? You're going to save your wife now. You are the hero here, not me. I'm just some person having a strange dream. And I can't stop thinking that it's your strange dream. I'm just passing through, you know? Well, it's been nice dreaming with you, Agnes. I hope we meet each other again sometimes, when we're awake. Who knows? Maybe we will. But I must wake up now. There's something I must do. Yes, I understand. Goodbye, and thanks for opening the gate for me. You just couldn't work that one by yourself, could you? You're welcome, Joe. It's time. For both of us. Bye, Joe. It's you. You again. What do you want from me? This is the last time our paths cross. I'm gonna smash you into pieces, if it's the only way I can save Ivy. Say goodbye to your sick little world, Sophie. This is our final battle. And this time, you die for good. That's a neat trick. Shotgun, is it reloaded? No, it is not. Oh, it's that bug. My shotgun. This is a pretty awkward fight. Ah! Well, that actually gives me time. Funny enough. Thank you, Hitler. I think I just bugged out the game. Hitler! Do I have to manually reload after every shot? Yes. So you've turned into a huge, horrible monster of claws and spikes, but your way of attacking me is spitting blood. Groovy. Ivy! Oh my god. Is she... Two and 5? What? This is impossible. I killed him. I'm sure I killed him. I did. Didn't I? This is messing with my head. Is it some strange dream after all? Hey, you! I don't know how you came back to life, and I don't care. Just let me be. I have nothing to do with you. You hear me? Not so chatty without your axe. Alright, don't talk to me then. Just go your way, and I'll go mine.
Oh.
That's my brother? Dad. It's your fault. It's always been you. You made her do what she did. We both know that, don't we? You fucking killed her, you little bastard! Yes, Joe. Yeah. You faggot. You couldn't keep an eye on your little brother for 5 fucking minutes. He was always the better one. I wish it was you who died that day. I wish it was you. Maybe Mary wouldn't have done what she's had. You have bloods on your hands, son. You have blood all over you. You just hurt everyone near you. You made Mother kill herself. I had to do something. If it wasn't for the drink, I'd just do the same thing. But look at me now.
Look like a corpse to me.
I'm running in front of the TV set. And you're going to kill again. So fuck you, Joe. Fuck you.
Thanks, Dad. Let's see. Control panel. It's time to turn it off. Joe. This ends here.
I only wish I got here before you'd, well, done what you'd done. Back off! I don't know who you are, and what you want, but I know I must finish what I started.
And this is reality coming crashing down.
I have to bring her back to life. Don't you understand? This is the only way. The only way. You have no idea what I've gone through today. I won't hesitate to shoot you. You can tell because I'm holding this gun in a gangster way. Joe, I need you to put the gun down. We're both going to get out of this room alive. I'm not your enemy. I just want to help you. I'm not interested. Get lost. Can't you see? I've found her at last. I can't stop it now. Because this is her only chance. Her last chance. So please, leave me alone. I don't want to kill you. Go away. Just fuck off. I'm afraid I can't do that, Joe. I understand that you're very confused about what's happened here. But I can explain. Just give me 2 minutes and listen to what I have to say. Are you fucking deaf? I'm gonna blow your brains out if you don't leave me alone. Please, Joe, I'm a friend. Just listen to me.
Yeah, I figured he was a cop. There's a good chance our hotel doesn't even exist. The music tones changed quite a bit. Almost completely different from the rest of the sound design. Dr. Zellman's clinic. Dr. Z. Could have just been a normal doctor. And he sees Dr. Z, Dr. Zellman, and he twists that into like some zombie Frankenstein SS doctor thing. In his delusions. This is an apartment, not a hotel.
What do we know so far about the killer?
The man we're after is Joe Davis. He lives in his apartment on top of the stairs. We don't know that much about him. He's never had any trouble with the law. There's no criminal record on his name, and we couldn't find anyone who'd have information about him. No friends, no job, no social life, really. Dr. Zellman's secretary describes him as a quiet but bitterly sarcastic type of a man. He's been seeing his shrink regularly for over a year now. His file was missing. I couldn't find what exactly is wrong with his head. But seeing what he's done to poor old Dr. Zellman, I assume this guy is a serious threat to everyone around him. I guess we'll find more evidence once we get inside his flat.
Tell me what you found on the crime scene.
Billy, are you sure you want to know the details? It was messy. It was really fucking messy.
I need to know, Darren. How exactly was he killed?
The killer put his head through the window. That was only the start. Dr. Zellman tried to fight back, but he was no match for him. So the zombie kill we saw was Joe. He beat him up pretty bad. Then he cut his face with glass from the window. Bloody hell, Billy. He spent a good hour cutting his defenseless body into pieces. I know relationships between patients and their shrinks can be a bit uneasy sometimes, but this one... Our forensics team found a small saw on the crime scene. Our killer used it to cut through Dr. Zellman's skull and remove the brain.
Which is missing.
Yes. The killer must have taken it with him for some reason.
Why would anyone need a human brain? Who knows? Some weird trophy. This guy must have completely lost the plot. Well, psychiatrist trying to fix people's heads. Maybe by removing his brain, he's taken something his victim was most proud of. Something that was making his victim better than him. And a psychiatrist's brain would be an exceptionally good one. Yeah, Dr. Frank Zellman had a fine brain. Perhaps that made our killer angry in the first place. Are you saying that he was jealous? Not exactly. He just felt that taking the brain would be a final humiliation to someone who frequently tried to fix his broken, sick mind. Someone who made him feel like a worse person. Billy, aren't psychiatrists supposed to make their patients feel better about themselves? Yes, they are. That includes uncovering very personal facts about the person's life, shameful secrets, things they often don't even want to acknowledge themselves. And to share this with someone can be painful. So painful that sometimes they would deny the truth because they are unable to face it. And then they get angry. The best solution is to get rid of someone who constantly points out that there's a problem. It makes the problem disappear because their minds have already accepted the world as they see it. Madness becomes reality. They get used to it. They learn to live with it. To maintain this false image, they won't even hesitate to kill. As long as no one finds out, they are happy to live a lie. That's right. You got it, Darren. You don't really believe he's gonna be in, don't you? Well, yes and no. While most suspects would be crossing the channel right now to hide somewhere in France, I got a feeling that our killer is not that predictable. Nevertheless, when we get inside his flat, we should be able to gather enough evidence to track him down. Psycho or not, maybe suicide to hide in his own flat after having just murdered his psychiatrist. Is that the only person he murdered? We'll find out in a minute. I'm ready. Let's do this. Breach and clear. Flashbang out. So this is where Joe lives. But who really is this man? Is it our killer? Or is it just an average Joe kind of guy? It's time to find out. Average Joe. Why do you look like Bono from U2? Let's see. There are SWAT guys wearing purple. I gotta read the rest of this a little more normally. Less pain.
No, of course not. I love Phoenix Wright.
No. For the sake of the poor old Frank, this is my responsibility to find his killer. After all.
See what you can find and come and talk to me when you've got something.
What are you going to do? I'll watch and learn. You've always been my mentor, Billy. But this time, like you said, this is your personal business. I don't want to get in the way. What happened here? There's lots of blood on the carpet and on the table. Did he cut himself? Or somebody else?
Cat. Bloody hell, Billy.
What the fuck is that? It's a cat. A black cat.
Black cat is pinned to the wall.
There's definitely an evidence that this man is extremely violent and aggressive. If he did this to a cat, he's probably capable of doing the same thing again. He might have murdered poor Frank after all.
This doesn't look like a normal apartment. He may have never even been married at any point in his life.
Interesting. What do you reckon, Darren? Looks to me like a creation of a madman's mind. The sort of dark poetry that bears deep meaning, but only to its author. So you think this isn't going to be helpful at all? That'd be my guess. Yeah. It also looks to me like a second part of the text. The beginning must be somewhere else.
And he punished those who stood in his way. The road to hell leads through blood and pain.
Billy, I thought you'd known better not to touch anything. This could be a murder weapon with fingerprints on it. Relax, Darren. I know what I'm doing.
I actually don't, but don't tell anyone that.
Huh? That's a really bad quality photo. It's hard to tell who's on it.
Ivy?
Almost like a corpse, though. Is it Joe? And who's the woman on the right? His wife? A friend? No, this is hardly an evidence.
That's a weird picture. I'm getting very bad vibes from that.
He broke the mirror. Fair enough. But that doesn't mean he's a killer. Deep down under the floor, I've hidden my fears and buried my lover.
Love forever.
This doesn't really feel like the continuation of the text on the other wall. No, but it sure makes more sense than the other one. The light is blinking. There's a message stored in the answering machine.
Frank Selman. So Joe was really full-on crazy then. So we don't even know if Ivy's real, or Ivy could just been some random person he picked up at the last second. Dr. Z was actually his shrink. Who else? What about Agnes, though? And the Queen of Maggots. I'm assuming the Queen of Maggots actually exists in some way. Maybe he got knocked out at some point. And I don't know, that's kind of weird. I guess he just kind of straddled that border between life and death. I just realized that's why this game is called Downfall. Huh, I see it now. So Dr. Zillman asked him to come over on Friday. That's when he was murdered. Another piece of the jigsaw puzzle is falling into place. Oh, I see, I gotta talk to him some more. See, right on the wall, with blood. I'm assuming it's his own blood, as mental cases like to cut themselves. But it could well be someone else's blood. Or it could be red paint. This one we should leave for our lab to find out. Let's see. A cat on the wall. Strange. Should we let RSPCA know about this? Let's just focus on the murder of Frank Zellman for now. Yeah, sure. I don't know why anyone would do this. It all seems quite bizarre. If you look closely, you can see the cat's stomach has been opened with a sharp tool. What was he looking for in there? I have no idea, mate. But this Joe Davis seems to be completely off the wall. Unlike the poor cat. Boy, this game sure likes making its little jabs, doesn't it? That's it. We've got 3 good pieces of evidence. By the look of things, it's very likely that Joe Davis has murdered Dr. Zellman. Be quiet for a second. I'm trying to think. Yep, we have no time to lose, Billy. He might kill again. Soon. I think I got it. Is there a cellar in this building? Not that I know of. No, I think there isn't. I haven't seen any doors downstairs. I know these old buildings. All of them used to have cellars. Joe Davis never ran away. He's still here. See those floorboards over there? This might be the only way down. That's a bit far-fetched, Billy. How do you... I just know. That's where he is. Trust me. Awkward forward walking animation. Oh no, he killed all the neighbors too. Each Sophie was probably a different person. Oh, thanks for explaining it in that way. Hey, we checked up on the neighbors. Turns out they're dead. My god, he's killed the neighbors? Yeah, it also turns out he killed everyone else too. In fact, everyone's dead. I think it would have just been better off getting straight to the point. Now... that doesn't work. I keep thinking that mattress is gonna come back for me, but let's see these... Go for the floorboards. That's a very nice jump, man. Very graceful. Almost Batman levels. The bloodstained bed. Psychiatric assessment written by Frank.
Joe must have taken it from his office. The patient's mental condition is degrading. He seems to surround himself with delusions about his wife. This can be caused by the feeling of guilt. His wife had been known to suffer from anorexia, and his attempts to help her overcome the illness were a direct cause for their divorce. He does not acknowledge this very fact. On numerous occasions, he mentioned that she is unwell and still living with him. He was supposedly taking care of her, and she was getting worse. When talking about the wife, the patient becomes anxious. All attempts of putting him back on the right track and explaining that she had left him are causing violent episodes of aggression. Lately, these attacks of anger have been happening more frequently. Hospitalization might be the only option, and it is being seriously considered.
Oh my god.
It's time to turn it off, Joe. You've lost control, Joe. What you think is happening, well, it isn't. You're hallucinating. Your mind created all this madness because it suited it. I don't believe you, old man. How could it be possible?
Oh man, the chainsaw's there too.
You're telling me I'm crazy. Is that so? I'm telling you, you've hurt a lot of innocent people, Joe. Whatever your reasons were. They were wrong. You did a horrible thing. Does the name Frank Zellman mean something to you? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything anymore. This woman on the chair, is that your wife? Look closely. Look at her, Joe. You have fried the poor girl. You made her fat first. Kept her down here for months. Tied up. Force-fed by you. She died a long time ago. And now you're fucking frying her, man. You've got to let go. It's over. You can't change what had happened. But you can still come out of this alive and atone for your sins. And maybe one day, you will be able to forgive yourself. Shut up! Just shut the fuck up! I think you're forgetting that I'm the one holding the fucking gun. I can do what I want, you goddamn liar. I can blow your brains out for all I care. Yes, but what good will that do? You're not a bad man. You're not a murderer, Joe.
We gotta rethink about that one.
What you've done out of grief and anger. You couldn't cope with your wife killing herself slowly, day by day. In your own way, you tried to save her. You still are. But face it, it's too late. This fight is over. Nothing can bring your wife back. No. 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 No! It's time to decide. Time to end it all. What are you gonna do, Joe?
Well, 3 options. We'll go surrender first.
I give up. You're right. I must have lost it. Never meant to. But I have. Take the gun. Arrest me. I'll pay for my mistakes. I just can't kill anymore. It's over. Well, let me tell you one thing, Joe. It bloody ain't. I've got plans, you see. Plans for you, Joe. What? Who are you? I'm just a man who's looking for justice in this fucking joke of a world.
Ah, he pulled some shit, didn't he? That's some ice cold shit. So the good cop was actually the bad cop. He did that whole spiel. You're not a murderer. Just so he could get him to drop his gun. Although he could just walked in and just shot him.
I'm gonna fry you like a bloody sausage. You'll beg me to finish you off. I must punish you for good old Frank. He was like a brother to me. Ivy? Ives, you gotta help me. You have to do something. Pick up the gun. Shoot the bastard.
So she was Ivy. What the fuck? Oh my god. The decision from earlier.
Ives, I've always loved you. I'm so sorry about all this. So sorry what I've put you through.
I wonder if this is another delusion, actually. God, it's so confusing at this point. But it was Ivy. She did fatten herself up. And she survived that electrocution? Well, I probably shouldn't think too much about that part of it.
My pieces smushed to the ground. I found rooms in my head.
So if we were unfaithful, then Ivy would maybe never helped. I can see how Agnes maybe didn't play into the ending at all. Because she leaves you that part way in.
Lost. The message you left won't save me. Your face is painted on every.
Wait, there's Agnes. Was she dead all along? Now this is confusing. I'm gonna laugh if that turns out to be the rock store. If this was just a dream, why does she have that thing tied around the... so it was actually a wedding. So we're gonna take a look at the other endings here. We did Surrender. I wouldn't be surprised if Surrender and Being Loyal So You Survive is the canon ending. But we'll go kill Billy, and then we'll go kill yourself at the end. During these, I won't talk during these endings, because my voice is getting a bit strained right now. Oh, what the hell. Gangsters, fuck.
words were meant to guide me. They have voice, pull little trigger inside me.
Well, that's it for Downfall. Now, there is some other scenes, and we should see if there's like some altered endings or anything based on your choices, but I'll come back for that later. I kind of hurt my voice a bit in this last episode, and you can kind of hear it after a certain point in the video where it kind of starts to strain a bit. I also kind of want to get away from this dreary world for a little bit, because throughout Downfall, and I didn't really experience this so much with some other games. Like, even with most horror games, even if it's like all gore and grim and stuff, you don't necessarily get like a dark, kind of tired feeling from things. It's like Amnesia, it's kind of a, it's a very much a horror game, but when you're playing it, you don't get this kind of dreary feeling. You're getting this kind of, your blood is racing at times, you get the scare and you do the running and this and that, and there's a climax. This, not so much. And like I said, the title Downfall is very fitting because it very much is the downfall of a man. And you can kind of feel that as the plot goes, you maybe only have one high point, one kind of funny point in the game, when you're playing as her. That's the only point. But when you're playing as Joe, there's none. And it just gets kind of more depressing and muddled as you go, until you reach the climax, which is not a real climax. Like, there's not really an epic kind of confrontation. It's kind of very muted. The final boss is kind of pathetic in its own way. You're just left with this kind of bad taste in your mouth, like that was depressing, kind of thing. Not necessarily sad, but there's just no light at any point. And I think it's a little more emotionally taxing than some other games when it's like that. And it's also in the sound design. I mean, the soundtrack is very muted. There's no very much highs or pickups. That's why I said the cop scene is actually so much of a contrast. And that actually makes sense. Agnes, when you're playing as her, when you're playing as the cop, the soundtrack is different, the mood is different, the dialogue is completely different. And it actually contrasts against Joe, where the soundtrack is either non-existent or very more atmospheric, and the dialogue is a little more dreary, and the subject matter is kind of depressing. So enough about the mood, let's get into the plot a bit. So Joe, pretty much fully nuts, went crazy, murdered his entire apartment, manifested it as some kind of weird hotel. I don't know if the hotel actually exists. Sometimes in these types of stories, you can have the real side of things, and I've talked about this in a few games, where you have the real side, the logical side that Joe is fucking crazy, and he just murdered a bunch of people, and this is kind of represented as he transformed people into other things like Sophie and whatnot. But there also is a supernatural, like the Queen of Maggots probably exists in her own way. And I think the hotel and its people kind of exist in their own way, but it's their own pocket existence that kind of never interacts with the real world in the same way. A bit like Weekender and some of those things. And that's why he was able to interact with Agnes. I don't know if you kill Agnes, if you get a different ending with her. Maybe that would explain some things. But I think it was like an astral projection world. Let's just say that. His mind somehow astral projected himself into like a dream world kind of thing, and Agnes managed to hang out there too. And as you go through the game, you kind of see the twistings of things. Like his shrink, who was just a normal shrink, assumingly a good one based on how they talk about him. He gets turned into some kind of evil Frankenstein SS doctor. And so he's transformed essentially into a villain. That you don't feel sympathy when he dies kind of thing. And this is how Joe rationalizes it in his head. And Sophie, is obviously Ivy. But this is kind of twisted, where Ivy was an anorexic in real life. This is twisted as Sophie being the exact opposite, being force-fed. I think Mr. Harris himself was actually supposed to be another extension of Joe. And it was kind of like the asshole, cynical part of Joe, maybe. I don't know if the whole cat drowning thing happened. It might have. But I didn't see a bathroom in that building of his apartment. That's kind of weird. Like, his whole apartment layout was kind of weird. I don't know. It could have been one of those apartments where they have a shared bathroom?
Possibly. But there was a cat. I don't know if it died the same way, but he definitely murdered it. Ivy existed, and where everyone assumed that Ivy left him, he actually just locked her up in the cellar and force-fed her till she got fat. Everyone seemed to assume she was dead, but she obviously comes and saves you at the very end. I thought that was a bit odd. In the other endings, she gets toasted. So in those endings, is she dead? I don't know. That kind of weirded me out. And he gets back into his delusions where he's holding the body outside kind of thing. Since Ivy and Joe are in the cat lady as far as I know, then I kind of assumed that he would survive in all the endings, that it'd just be variations of the things, and that's what happened. I don't know what Ivy's body is like in Cat Lady. That would probably fill me in on what ending is the canon one for this. If she's intact and alive, then the surrender ending's canon. If her body looks like it's kind of dead and toasty, then I'm assuming the other endings are probably the canon. Probably the suicide one, or the murder one. The murder one is kind of funny, I thought. I mean, he guns down a whole group of SWAT teams, and he's kind of running blind fired. And he never seems to have to reload. I guess you're not supposed to think too deeply about that. Actually, when I think about, like, the people with masks in the kitchen area, the dining room area, those were probably also the apartment goers. Maybe he already murdered them at that point. And it's just kind of like his delusion. He can't recognize the faces, so they're wearing masks. Also, the Axeman is Joe. Like, there was never an axe murderer. Joe is the axe murderer, essentially. Which is why he says we're alike, and that's why he pulls off the mask and he reveals Joe. And even the devil came through here thing is just that more dramatic when you realize Joe is the devil. And he's the one who's actually coming through there. He comes through there in the... As far as kind of story setup canon, he probably comes through there when you finally go in through that hallway and the axe murderer is down there. That's kind of the first devil comes through here. And you have that dramatic walkthrough after you've murdered the axe murderer. And the other most dramatic one is when he comes back out with Ivy in his arms, walking through there kind of slowly. It really lets you kind of reflect on that whole thing. The Frankenstein's monster kind of thing was also Joe. That's how he actually murdered the doctor, was slamming his face against the glass and assumingly cutting him up with a chainsaw. The doctor was also represented by that frozen pig who you cut the brain out of. I think the use of the Frankenstein was symbolism for Joe, though. I think, if he's kind of fully crazy, he may be thinking that the doctor is using him in a sense, and it gets kind of twisted into the doctor is gonna, like, turn me into a Frankenstein monster and remove my brain, and I gotta remove his brain first, and this and that. So that's what the Frankenstein monster is in his lab. And even the other one that's you pull the brain out of, that's supposedly the axe murderer. They're all Joe. And they're kind of representing that kind of guinea pig feeling he may be developing as his sanity kind of drops. Well, I think that's about all I really can say about this story and game. Pretty cool game. Well, it's more than pretty cool. It's a pretty good game. I'm interested in the Cat Lady now. I won't play that right away, but I definitely will. Kind of put it on the backlog of what I need to play in the future. Pretty well written. I think that it's not really so much it's a twist, but I think the twist, it's not like one of those M. Night Shyamalan out of the fucking nowhere twists. It had a lot of foreshadowing build up to it, so it was kind of a smart twist, if you would say, not pull out of your ass twist. Well, thank you for watching me play for the entirety of Downfall, and I'll see everyone later, and hopefully my throat feels a bit better after that last run.